Alright, chat. So I've been playing Fox Hunt for about 20 hours so far. I wasn't impressed at first, but the more I played it, the more I realized that this bonus online mode has more depth to it than meets the eye. Let me give you my general opinions on it. The good and the bad, some tips and strats, and why you should probably give this at least 5 hours of playtime before you decide to either move on or stay for more. Now, for those who haven't touched this game mode whatsoever, here's the broad strokes about it. Yes, it's just a Fortnite Battle Royale copycat or whatever. 8 to 12 players competing over being inside of a circle while scavenging for weapons, you name it. But I think Konami really cooked with this one, and it is worth trying out if you already own Delta. At the moment, it's pretty bare bones with just 3 maps and 2 game modes, but there's been some kind of leaks that this game mode is to be expanded upon. And honestly, starting out small has a bit of a silver lining to it, so we could focus on learning the basics of the game and not be totally overwhelmed by it. Anyway, so the premise of every round is to spawn in with nothing, scavenge for weapons around the map to get stronger, then compete over the objectives, be it area control with the Gakos or holding onto a prop like the Karatan. There's 4 phases to every round, and after every phase is complete, those who did not manage to complete the objective get eliminated from the game. And in the next phases, the objectives become more and more finite, up until there's only one objective to compete over, and it forces the players into a final showdown. So when I logged into my first game, all of these things felt pretty overwhelming, as I did not know where to go, how to get weapons, upgrade them, use camouflage, or manage my inventory. Worst of all, you can dump an entire magazine onto the other player and he just won't die. Yeah, a bullet sponge third-person shooter doesn't exactly give the best first impressions. I know. So about 5 hours in, I had all the controls and general environment of the game figured out, and had rewired my brain to play this game differently than your typical shooter. Now about the whole thing where every gun feels like a pea shooter. Yes, they are, at base level. Every gun has up to 5 grades of strength, and you can upgrade them with kits picked up from the boxes. And that can reduce the time to kill to a reasonable amount if you manage to get a clear shot to the other guy. But still, there's also body armor which can neutralize your upgrade, but it's a bit more rare to find than stronger guns. And well, if you think about it, if this game actually had a time to kill similar to Call of Duty, the whole meta would have been people blending in perfectly inside bushes with this really elaborate camouflage system, and spraying you down in half a second as soon as you walked by, or even from a long distance. Nobody would be able to move much, and whoever had managed to have the objective spawn closest to them would be impossible to dislodge from. This amount of HP lets players move around without fear of being insta-killed too much, and gives you a chance to react to an ambush from a camouflaged player. It's not unfair for the guy that's hiding in the bushes either. You just have to time your ambush right. Wait for the guy to either come too close so there's no chance for him to escape to cover, or find a perfect opportunity to take him down when he's opening a box, or eating a ration. Still, if you have a max upgraded sniper or assault rifle and body armor, you can become really aggressive in your playstyle. It's just generally wiser to avoid open combat with other players if you have grade 1 to 3 weapons, and instead focus more on breaking more boxes to upgrade them to grade 5 in order to face them head-on at the objective near the end of the round. So, here's the gameplay loop. The round starts, you scramble for every box you can find to get stronger, and depending on your judgment for when you're strong enough, you head to the objective and fight other players for it. But I've personally found that spending more and more time in the earlier phases to scavenge for the best equipment possible is a game-winning strategy. As in the earlier phases, there's more Karatans and Gakos around the map, and people won't be competing over the same thing once the time runs out. You can use that time in phase 1 to get as strong as possible for the next phases, when there's going to be fewer opportunities to scavenge, and players are going to be fighting over the same objective. Besides, if you enter the final phase with a grade 1 rifle and no armor, and the other players are holding on to god-tier equipment, it's just not going to end well for you. Here are some tips for scavenging. You can use the worst guns in the game, such as the pistols, or that unholy pea-shooter submachine gun to break open the boxes faster, instead of spending 4 seconds to open each one by hand. And honestly, it feels like that's the only purpose for these trash-tier guns, to let you roll the next box faster and faster. It just so happens that a full magazine of the pistols and SMG are just enough to break open a box, so I guess it's a feature. Now, the combat in this game isn't really about your gun skill, but more about who's got the biggest stick and who can get the drop on the other one using camouflage. A guy that's holding onto grade 5 armor and an assault rifle could be literally ambushed from behind by a guy with a grade 1 LMG. Spray like 20 bullets into him, then the other guy just turns around and insta-kills him. That just violates the common sense of online multiplayer shooters, and I can understand why that can turn a lot of people off. I've had my fair share of bullet sponge moments that made me want to tear my hair out, but that just reinforces how the game should be played. Step 1. Scavenge to get stronger. Then step 2, get to the objective and fight for it. Whoever doesn't scavenge enough or just gets really unlucky with his drops is probably gonna lose. It's not a completely fair system. Now for what I think is one of the biggest issues in the game, is the lack of a free-for-all mode. You can only play in duos against 5 other teams, but if you don't happen to have a reliable friend on call, and/or your random buddy isn't that good at the game, you're most likely gonna end up fighting a stronger duo near the end of the game that manages to lock the objective down, and nobody can take it from them just from the fact that they have twice the health and firepower. That's usually how most games end up. The teams that lose one member, and the game enters the final phase with 1 or 2 more teams fully intact. The game is pretty much forfeit for you. It's near impossible to beat 2 guys that stick together. By the time you have one guy dead, both of them are firing back at you at the same time, and you're dead. Now this would have been more possible to cope with if you're left alone in the next phases. If the time to kill was just lower, and you could get a good ambush on the other team and drop them before they can react. Or if the spawn times were just longer, or there was no respawns at all. But the way it is now, if you end up in the final phase with you alone facing 2 guys together, even if you kill one of them, he's gonna be back to take you down in 15 seconds. All the while his buddy is still out there. And it's clear that this is a real issue that needs fixing. Because when I did host a makeshift 6-player free-for-all game without teammates, it felt more fun and fair. Everyone had to fend for themselves, and up until the final phase, it wasn't clear who's gonna win. While on ranked duo games, not only the intrigue of the game is lost near the end due to intact teams dominating, but you cannot even quit mid-game if you feel the game is clearly lost to you. Even if you've died like 3 times in a row and lost all your equipment, you have to either sit through the entire game or reboot it. That, and along with other issues that need fixing, such as the implementation of crossplay, doesn't give this online mode a good look for the future. Even 1 week after launch, I'm just getting matched up against the same people over and over again every game. But here's what I've found to be the most fun, most exhilarating moments this game has to offer. They're too few and far in between, but when they do happen, this game keeps making you come back for more. I'll just let the gameplay speak for itself.
30 seconds remaining. Remaining time.
Bitch!
The mission is over. Warning, your buddy is confirmed down. Stay alert until they can return to battle. Phase complete. You have retrieved the asset.
That was pretty good.
The phase
That was
is now
pretty good.
complete. Please get ready for the next phase post-haste.